Hi everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so we have another remote. I did a remote earlier this evening, and so I'm going to now tell you what I saw. And the first remote was Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon. So the first target was Steve Bannon, and when I went into the energy, he said that the first thing was that he was defending the money that he took from the Build the Wall organization. He was saying the feds know that what I did was completely legal. So in plainer words, he's building a defense. Bannon is building a defense that the money they took was for representation, like they were going to be representing this fund and they were working, and so they took they were entitled to some type of payment for that. So he's saying, so in the remote, Bannon is claiming that this is a bogus charge and that the feds know it's a bogus charge, but that they're trying to get to Trump. And so because the feds are trying to get to Trump, he's claiming this is all fake, in plain words. All right, so we know from previous remotes that Bannon very likely was some type of an informant, possibly for the CIA. He was working with foreign business people, etc., and possibly he was sharing a little information. But in this energy, when you go in, it's really the FBI is hounding him and the FBI is wanting information. So when you go further into the remote, because once I lock onto a target, my system, if you're learning to be a heart-centered remote viewer, I lock on my target, and then I see what the target is thinking about, and then I follow what they're thinking about, and then I follow, so I will often work backwards. So that's what I did with Bannon. I focused on the target, and the first thing I saw when I focused on the target was him defending his right to take this money, and that they were actually going to use that as an argument. The second thing I saw when I went into the remote was that that the feds want to make a deal with him in exchange for cooperation. And specifically, they want cooperation. Bannon said, and this is what I heard from Bannon, they want everything. So they're basically going to be able to subpoena to get everything if they haven't done that already. Search warrants, so computers, phones, phone records, logs, any hidden financial logs that he has. They want his contact list. So they want specifically from Bannon his contacts, the people he dealt with, the emails, etc. So when you follow that energy on Bannon, it takes you to not just Build the Wall, but possibly Bannon shuffling money back and forth, that he could have been a go-between person, promoting foreign interest. So Bannon appears to be moving around in this circle of people that are involved in foreign business, because I really feel I just feel like deep cover CIA op kind of stuff with Bannon. I don't know if we'll ever know if if this whole thing was set up to keep his cover, or if the FBI and the CIA, I have no idea how this is working, but I can't imagine with Bannon's education and some of the stuff he's gotten away with that he hasn't made some deal to cooperate or give information at some point. When I went further into the energy about Bannon, it turned out that he had names of foreign contacts and shady business deals that were linked back to Julian Assange, Russia, and also oil interest. And when I followed the energy on the oil interest, it was actually local. It was like Texas oil. Remember we had said that there was a case that the FBI was looking at linking corruption, voting, etc. in Texas, and that Texas was going to be a hotspot for that, and specifically looked to the oil industry. So there's feds are investigating corruption, oil in Texas, and possible business with Bannon and bribes, special interest, etc., including attempts to bypass the EPA corruption, corrupting the EPA. It says also here in the remote that the FBI had taken countless affidavits and investigations, and the investigations had continued quietly. Because of the structure of the FBI, nobody in the FBI knows what anybody else is working on. And so consequently, all investigations are top secret, and so they continue on, and everybody just works on their little portion of an investigation. This is something we saw when we did a remote. And so these investigations continued. There are 4 major FBI investigations that are broken into smaller investigations, but this is basically what we're going to be seeing in the next 3 weeks. So you get the news 3 weeks early. There are 4 aspects to the investigations, the FBI's contribution to these investigations. Number 1, we all know, is the White House legal issues. So more issues coming out in the White House because there were affidavits taken by the FBI during Mueller and after about witnessing corruption or questionable activity in the White House. So those people reported it. So that's an investigation into corruption that was witnessed by people in the White House and affidavits that were taken by the FBI. So that's one thing that's going to come out. The second thing that's going to come out is that there's been a very long investigation that's gone on for years, possibly decades, where the feds look at foreign business ties. And specifically, they're worried about, as I had said in previous remotes, Mueller had gone all the way to the Capitol steps. This concern that foreign influence in lobbying, etc. So when you look at the foreign business ties, that links back to Bannon as a go-between between these foreign interests, etc. And the question remains, was he really in, or was he out, or was he a CIA op? How was he able to do this and get so deep in with these people and evade being arrested? So that's a whole other thing that people are going to start thinking about in the coming days. So then the third is that there's going to be reports of rape allegations, not one rape allegation, but possibly multiple rape allegations, sexual assault, etc. And some of this is going to be coming from Michael Cohen, but I imagine also more stuff coming out from Ghislaine Maxwell. The fourth major thing that's coming out is tax evasion and fraud schemes. So the main witness, again, going deep into the remote, we see that Cohen was a major person who helped show them how schemes worked. He cooperated with the feds to broker a deal. There was a crime investigation made, and then they looked at a major foreign lobbying scheme. The conclusion from the investigation from the FBI and also from hearings that are going to be coming up in the future is that these offshore accounts and these business deals where people were wheeling and dealing with foreign money and not declaring taxes, etc., over a period of decades have cost the American taxpayer possibly trillions of dollars. That was the conclusion from the report. So basically, corrupt business persons, mafia, etc., were sneaking their money out of the United States to the tune of billions and trillions of dollars, and working also with drug cartel and other mafias in other countries, and so they were never paying their taxes, and it accumulates into, over decades, trillions of dollars that America lost in revenue simply because these individuals didn't pay their taxes. So we're looking at hearings. This also goes back to, there's another investigation, sorry. Now, Joe Biden, what he got informed of is that when he started getting information about what was going on, it was ongoing investigations that he's looked at that the feds have looked at into stock manipulation. So basically what happened was that Joe Biden, the feds, they had been for a while looking at stock market manipulation schemes, etc. And so that was how he got interested in Elizabeth Warren, how the average Joe winds up losing all of their money because of this instability of the market due to some bad apples, and the fact that a majority of the people that work in this area want some ethics, because it's a very volatile, dangerous thing. So this again goes to why Joe Biden was very close to choosing Elizabeth Warren. It's because of this economic crisis that's happening, and the millions and billions and trillions of dollars that Americans have lost in tax money that could have gone to schools, etc., that was sent overseas. Okay, so I think after looking at that, we'll see much more of Elizabeth Warren fighting the good fight, and I think that Joe Biden's going to put her in a position of real importance going forward. All right, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.